Everyone called Mia a shameless whore. However, the one trailing behind her was the youngest Don of the Yorick family, James. He hand-washed her lace camisoles, broke 3 ribs for her, and even with his face covered in blood from a beating, he could still smile at her. One night, after too much drinking, the underboss he trusted most leaned down beside him. His face was full of disdain. "Boss, Mia is a disgrace to all of us. A woman like that, how could she ever be worthy of you?" James suddenly laughed. His eyes went terrifyingly blank. The cigar between his fingers glowed faintly in the dark. "Back then, before I secured my position, I was young, greedy for power. To get my sister-in-law that antique necklace she wanted, I took advantage of Mia being drunk and took pictures of her myself. $10 a copy. I sold 30,000 of them. Things blew way out of control. I owe her." James took a long drink of whiskey while his Adam's apple bobbed. "Thankfully, she will never know. I will spend my whole life making it up to her, treating her twice as well." He did not see the private room door quietly close the moment he said those words. Mia turned around with a blank expression on her face and walked into a small clinic on the corner. She laid down on the operating table. He would never deserve to know that he had once been a father, if only for a moment. That whole lifetime he planned to spend making it up to her, she did not want it anymore. There was no anesthesia. Icy instruments plunged into Mia Sanders' body, ripping away the fragile life that had just begun to bloom. Mia remembered how drunk and unconscious she was at a college party 6 years ago. When she woke up, her world had turned upside down. Her nude photos had spread to every corner of the internet. Her father spat a mouthful of blood onto the table and never woke up again. On the 3rd day after the funeral, her mother dragged her to the rooftop. "I wish I had never given birth to such a shameless thing. Why don't you just die?" Then her mother jumped in front of her. They were on the 19th floor. Her mother was shattered, broken into pieces. Mia was dragged into the restroom. Urine and feces rained down on her. Her hair was pulled, her face pressed onto the filthy tile, and something disgusting was shoved into her mouth, forcing her to bark like a dog. James Yorick was the only one. It was only James who stood between her and them, covering her in his coat. His eyes were red as he whispered, "Don't be afraid." She clung to that sliver of light like a life raft, gasping for life. In a cruel twist, the light she held onto had been sparked by the one who burned everything down. She had even ridiculously fallen in love with him. Mia forced herself upright and dialed a number. "Mr. Thompson, this is Mia. I have carefully considered the overseas position you mentioned before, and I've decided to accept it." The voice on the other end sounded surprised, then hesitant for a moment. "Mia, your abilities are beyond doubt, but will your husband, Don Yorick, allow you to leave?" She cut him off. Her voice was flat and unshaken. "We will get a divorce." When James returned home, Mia was curled in the corner of the sofa. Her face was as pale as paper. He took off his coat, carrying the chill of the night with him, and approached her with furrowed brows. When his hand touched her icy ankle, he immediately wrapped her entire body in his suit and lifted her into his arms. He did not kneel. He just sat beside her, pressing her frozen feet against his chest and arms, warming them with his body heat. "Why can't you ever take care of yourself?" His voice was low and unreadable, betraying no emotion, yet his fingertips traced the top of her foot slowly. It was a touch that carried undeniable control. Mia, looking at his hollow tenderness, felt nothing but disgust, her stomach churning as though it might make her sick. She instinctively swung a hand, almost gagging as she struck him. The sharp smack left them both frozen for a moment. James quickly came back to his senses, pressing her reddened palm to his lips, blowing softly. "Babe, what did I do?" His heated fingertips traced up her calf, cupping the curve of her rounded hip. His Adam's apple rolled as lust darkened his gaze. "Or is it because we haven't been intimate in so long that you want to do it this way?" Click. The sound of a key turning in the door lock